Hey everyone, welcome back to Logic Bombs. Today we'll begin row 5. Let's jump in. Rule 8. Letter bombs of the same type have the same values. Okay, so they're just variable amounts, but they're constant variables. Let's just go ahead and solve this column while we can. Let's see. Of the same value of the same type have the same value. Well, the absolute maximum that x can be is 2, given that he can only attack these two guys right here. In fact, you can't even get that guy. X has to be, at most, 1. Because this guy's taken care of by the Y. So what that means is that, for example, well, this Y has to take out this individual here. So this Y has to be at minimum 3. In order to get 3 here, is there anything that's obviously like... This like has to get that guy, or this guy. I guess he could get that guy too. Hmm. Well, unless y equals 4, which I don't think is true given that there are, like, what? If y is equal to 4, then 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, there wouldn't be enough monsters to go around. I think given that, it has to look like that. One zone, which is nice. It has to look like this so that x is equal to 1. If x is equal to 1, then what does that tell us? Well, y is equal to 3, so that and that have to be the case. There has to be a wall there to stop the bombs from intersecting. Same goes there. The one goes there. Then there's a wall there. This is all empty, forcing this Y to get this guy. And these guys and these X's to get those guys. Great. Let's fill in the required walls to make all of this work. That's all entirely empty. So is that. I kind of rushed through that. There's a strong possibility I messed up a wall somewhere. Exactly how or why, not sure, but we'll see. There has to be a wall there. I guess there has to be a wall there. What else? Has to be a wall there. All of this is empty. This 2, 3, 2 column. Oh, same with this 2 column. What else must there be? There has to be a wall there. That's all empty. Has to be a wall there. That's all empty. Boom. Boom. Empty. And empty. Huge. That wasn't so bad. Let's jump into the next level. Another rule. Interesting. Letter bombs cannot have identical value to any other letter or number bombs. Understood. Understood. So, for example, this x and this y can't be 2 or 3. X has to be 1 and y has to be 4 or something similar. With that, I mean, what that means, especially because there's only one wall here, this wall is going to. It's going to look like this, right? Where you have one of them taking over all of them. Because if you have the wall here, for example, that makes y2, which we can't have. If we put the wall here, it's the exact same thing. X is equal to 2. So the wall has to go on one of these ends, leaving those empty. Meanwhile, what else can we learn? It's all one zone, which is good to see. 999. Huh, interesting. So there has to be like a little pathway down through here to make sure that we have the two zones connecting. With the slime, of course. Hmm. Is there anything else we can meaningfully learn from this X and Y situation? Oh, Well, we solved this column. Should have led with that. Solving that row. With that row solved, is anything else solved? This column is solved. This row is solved. Does that solve any column? Yes, it solves that column. Solving that row. Does that solve any column? Oh, I don't think so quite yet. Hmm. Hmm. Oh, it's... No, it doesn't solve anything there yet. Um, I swear I'm just missing something very obvious here. And I was. 1, 2, 3, 4. That column is solved. Anything else? 1, 2, 3, 4. Exact same thing. Any other obviously solved things here? No, no, no. Do we have enough to solve which of these two is walled and which is not walled? Let's see. If we put it there, actually, I think better yet, we have to. Do we have to have these open? I don't think so, right? Because we've solved all the bomb rules basically, with the exception of these guys down here, figuring out which one has the wall. We're one away from solving this column. One away from doing the same here. Hmm. There's something very obvious I'm sure I'm just fully missing right now. We're also one away from solving this column. Hmm. Okay, fine. Let's work out these. If we put the wall here, that forces this to be open, which then puts walls there, right? Um, we're working through the 50-50. We're working through the 50-50 right now. That would then... What does that do for us? Does that solve anything? I don't really think so. I mean, let's be so real. This is going to be where the opening is going down. To connect the two zones, I mean. Do we learn anything more by blocking off this wall instead? Doesn't even solve that. Leaves it more dubious here. I don't think we can say for sure which one is solved or not solved. Anything we can learn from all of this? Yeah, we're one away from solving that column. There's going to be something very obvious here that I'm just fully missing. It's interesting that we're missing that there will be two more airspaces in this column. One from this presumably, and then where else? Hmm. Okay, let's just logic it through. If we block off this, like it has to be, there's no way not to block that off, then yeah, this has to be open. That solves that entirely. That's solving, that was easy. That's solving all of this. Unless I'm mistaken, of course. That also solves that. What does that do for us? It reveals this is the wall, that's not the wall. This is empty, that's a wall. Then these two, that's a wall, this is open. Huge. The new rule didn't play that much of an effect on that level, to be honest. That was mostly other rules logicking through. Oh, interesting. So that means that one of these is going to be X or Y is going to be worth 0. Now let's just solve this roll while we're at it. Simply because there's only 6 monsters, and if each is more than one, then they have to double up, which is against the rules, of course. I don't know immediately which one is which. Also, one zone. Good to remember. Hmm. Well, just to stop bomb collisions, we have to have a wall there and a wall there. That's just intuitive stuff from the get go. Hmm. Nothing of the sort is true over here with the X's. Well, what happens next? I'm not certain. Okay, looking at this, this row is going to have 3 walls, which is pretty interesting. The rest of them are going to have just one wall, or this one has 2 walls actually, which are going to, of course, block off one side from hitting it. Therefore, we know that, for example, this is empty space, so is all of this, because the wall has to be either here or here. That is also empty space. That is also empty space, which leaves these 2 walls down. This column solved. Is there any other similarly solved column? I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so quite yet. Hmm. Looking at all of these, okay, we need to connect this. We need to connect the slime up somehow, which shouldn't be that hard. I don't know why I'm worried about that, but just logically thinking through it, if is there any logical reason that, for example, the y's could or could not be the 0 version here? If this is empty and that's empty and this, that'd be a wall there to stop those guys from interacting. And this is empty and this is empty and this is empty. What does that entail here? That one has to be a wall. Uh, Leaving those empty. What else has to be a wall? Um, I don't think that means anything, to be honest. Let's look for something similarly damning for the X's. Empty, 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 empty. I mean, we need to wall off all this stuff. Well, there. Nothing leaps to mind. Hmm. The slime, of course, has to be able to get around, but there's no real concerns there, I think. Oh, you know what? These can't all be open because if this is all open, like take a look. This, then these two interact, and that's no good. Therefore, the x's have to be the zeros, and we're walling off the x's in some way. Great. Therefore, there has to be a wall there. Also, that's open. There has to be a wall here. That row is empty. What does that show us next? Who knows? Um, oh, that has to be a wall here. Therefore, this is all empty. That has to be a wall, and that has to be a wall emptying that as well. That has to be a wall, solving that column. That has to be a wall, solving that column, making this row obviously complete and this row obviously complete. Yeah, once you work it out, it's not too hard. Not too bad at all. Let's go to the next level. 10 monsters, 4x, 2y. The obvious thing for me here is like x is equal to 1, y is equal to 3, or x is equal to 2, y is equal to 1. So is x 2 or is x 1? Either way, x is not getting these guys. That's just not happening. And is y equal to 1 or y equal to 3? Can y be equal to 3? No, it cannot. Therefore, y is equal to 1 and x is equal to 2. Therefore, this x has to attack these guys because he can't get all three of those, forcing this y to get him, forcing... What does that force? Well, this y can only get that guy. And this x, therefore, has to get either both of these or this guy and that guy. I'm not sure I know enough to know what happens next here regarding all of the x's, because it could be like this guy gets that guy or gets all like this guy down here. I just don't know enough quite yet. Well, we know for sure there's a wall here. Are there any other obvious walls? There's a wall somewhere in there. There's 3 open air pockets in this column here. What could that imply? That could imply this guy, and this guy. Okay, so there's no way to look at that and be like, oh, only 2 things attack beneath it. No, all 3 of these bombs could attack across that line. This X has to get this monster because this guy can't. That's the whole thought. This X has to get that monster because no one else can. Does that do anything else for us? I don't think so. Okay. There has to be a wall somewhere in there to stop this bomb from attacking that monster. Is there another required wall in that row? No. How about this row? No required wall. How about this row? Potentially one here, but we'll see. If this is empty, yeah, that row is still solvable theoretically by putting walls there. This row, 3 walls, does not stop us from doing both of the guys like that. What is... Oh, this row's solved. It's been solved for like a while. Oops. Does that help us or give us any leads? Meaningful leads? Not really, I don't think. I mean, I'm looking at some things. Like, I'm looking at this 2, for example. Only 1 more to solve that column. Only 2 more to solve this column. Like, you know, there's some good stuff going on, but who actually... Oh, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4. That column is also solved. Oops. Those were kind of obvious in retrospect. What's next? What I do here? What's going on here? I don't think I meant this to be a thing. Well, if that column is solved, then this guy has to get these 2 monsters, therefore forcing this bomb to get that monster and this bomb to get that monster, forcing a wall to be there and a wall to be there. Solving that column, What does that do for us? It's good progress, undoubtedly. Unless I screwed something up somewhere, which is, as always, profoundly possible. There has to be a wall there now, solving that column entirely. Let's see. This has to be open, which is just nice to know. What else? This has to be open, which is also just nice to know. This has to be open because that's a solved column. Therefore, boom and boom. That row is solved. Does that solve any columns for us? I think it's close to it. 6. We're one away from solving this column. We're one away from solving that column. Who knows on these ones? Those ones are tricky. We're also one away from solving this column. Oh, this one is solved. Huge. Therefore, this has to be open to stop it from being a little like solo section. Therefore, that column is solved as well. I'm getting the feeling that this might not be totally correct. Just a hunch. We'll see if I'm right about that. Next up, that has to be open. Thus solving. Yeah, look at that. Oh, wait, no. No, I didn't. Oh, oops. One of these has to be open, making both of those walls. This is totally solved. What is next? What is next? That has to be open. Therefore, that's all solved. What is next? Those columns are solved for us now, which is nice. Or I guess they have been solved for a while. I don't know why I said that as if it's a new thing. There's no more bomb rules to help us out here, right? One more to solve in that column. Could be anything here. One more to solve, or one more air to leave open here. One more wall to place here, and that's it. Are there any other absolutely like required spots that have to be open to make the zoning law work? This has to be open. That solves that. Leaves all of this open. Therefore, that's also closed, solving that entire row. What does that do next? Column. Oh, that solves this column, which is good. That leaves this open, which... Solved. Wow. That did not feel... I did not feel great solving that one, but hey, we got through it. Next level. X, Y, and Z. 15 total. I'm going to be so honest, I can't really tell algebraically what possible combinations there are. I mean, they can't all be 1, right? Because that's only 8 bombs total. What if we bump this up to 2 each? X is 2, Y is... No, then they're all even numbers. And it doesn't really work. How about... Let's get a lay of the land first. X for sure has to be at least 1, which I guess is true for all of these. I can't really imagine that not being true with how the bombs are positioned here. What is the absolute most Y can be? Y can at most be 2. Also, there has to be a wall there. Oh, well, that helps us tremendously, actually, because that means X is at least 3. If that's true, then that's 6 accounted for. What algebraically works if X is at least 3? you need to get 9 covered, then y can be 1 and z can be 2. That's pretty good. What is the absolute um most z can be? Z can be like up to 4 or something. How about x? Is x limited at all? X can be up to 4. Let's just see if we can solve any Picross rules right now and use that to figure out the rest of this. Let's see, if y gets these guys, then there's not enough walls to go around, so y does not attack those ones. Therefore, who does? Therefore, either x has to or z has to. Oh, wall there, meaning that z has to be... No, x can also get that one. Oops. But wall there to stop the slime from being blasted. Are there any other obvious, like, bomb crossing or, like, that kind of stuff rules? We could theoretically have this, which is funny. No, we couldn't. Because we just talked about this. He can't do that because then there's not enough walls to go around up here. An interesting wrinkle is that there's only one wall in this row and this row, meaning that, for example, that's possible, or like something like that. I'm not quite sure. The Z's can get him potentially, or the Y can get him potentially. Which one will happen? TBD. TBD. Okay, let's start algebraically figuring this out. X is at least 3. Um. Oh, well, if X is at least 3, then he has to attack these guys no matter what. Because, yeah, no matter what, to get to 3, he has to do that. So the Z is blocked off there, forcing... If it wants to get any, which I guess Z theoretically could be 0. Could it? No, I guess it... actually. Let's say X is equal to 4. Then if Z is 0... that leaves 7 to fill. There's no even way to split 7. Yeah, no, Z can't be 0. I don't think Z can be 0. Okay. If X is 2, so that's 6 total. Z being 3 would solve it immediately because that'd be... Sorry, when I'm saying X is equal to... if X is equal to 3, which it currently is, then that leaves 9 to solve for. That means neither Y nor Z can be 3, or if they are 3, then the other one is 0. Y we already know has 1. Is there any mathematical way to, with X is equal to 3 and Y is equal to 1, make this work? X is equal to 3, Y is equal to 1. That is 9 off already. Then Z would be equal to 2. And that'd be true in the other direction as well. We can have 3, 2, 1 without issue here. Okay. With that in mind, with that in mind, okay, well, Y can only get up to those 2. Y could theoretically get this guy as well. Over here, this bottom left Y. Are there any other, like, obvious things to do here? Like, Picross rule-wise? I don't want to jump into all this bomb shenanigans if there's obvious, like, rows that are already solved and that kind of thing. I don't think so. This is a pretty number light solution overall. Well, There's no way for there's no way for y to be 3 and solve it immediately because this guy can only get one more at most. That would make it so that this guy has to get this guy. Therefore, okay, we already discussed how it's impossible for y or z to be 0. Because if that's the case, then x is already 3. That brings us down to 9 total monsters to get rid of left. And that would force the other one, if one of them is 0, to also be 3, which is impossible based on rule 9. Therefore, they can't be 0 unless x is equal to 4, which is also not possible to be 0 because then you have an odd number to split between two like different. It's just not going to work out. Z is equal to 2, y is equal to 1. Final answer. There's a wall somewhere in there. Okay. Locked in. Let's see if that solves this puzzle for us. There has to be a wall there. Has to be a wall there. Has to be a wall there. Has to be... Doesn't have to be a wall there. Wall is here, so that's open as well. There's a wall somewhere in there, but we already basically knew that. A wall somewhere in here and a wall somewhere in there, making that open. You're a wall. That's the whole thought. Oh, you're a wall. Somewhere in here is a wall. Any just like solved rows? Please? I'm begging ya. I'm sure there's like a very obvious thing I'm missing somewhere. 2 zones! Oh no, there's 2 zones this level because there's 2 slimes. Oh no! Wow. Okay, that changes things a substantial amount. Wow, we need to block off things. Okay, shoot. Are there any things we absolutely can't have connecting? Nothing quite yet. I don't even really have an idea of like what the shape of these 2 zones are yet. Let's work it out. Looking up top. Wall somewhere here, wall somewhere there. There's got to be a wall somewhere in here. Only one wall, meaning that like this is mostly here. Let's work this out actually. Let's say one of these has to be, there has to be an empty spot somewhere here. So that would mean like, let's say like there's a wall like here, forcing all of this to be open as well. Does that cause problems for us? I think so. Because that connects with this guy over here. And that is concerning. Yeah, if there's a wall all the way across, then if we have our 1 block here, it cuts across that way. If we have 1 block here, it cuts across that way. What if we have 2 blocks like that? Oh ho ho. Now we're getting somewhere. Or we could block it off earlier, I guess, like over here. No, but there has to... No, there doesn't have to be, actually. I lied. I'm lying to you. Ugh, my bad. Oh, what am I doing? There's a wall here because of the bomb rule. Oops. That solves that row for us. This one's also already been solved for a while. I'm just missing like oh oops. Just missing. What am I doing? I've been just missing obvious things. This is not good. I'm doing this slowly. That can't be any fun. Huh. Okay, well, we know that this has to be a wall because you can't have those connecting. If you have that connect, then just the slimes are touching. Wall, open. Does that do anything for us? Solving wise, well, that solves that because we have to have at least one wall in here to stop this bomb from hitting that monster. Does that do anything else for us? The same is true here. Has to be a wall there to stop this bomb from hitting that monster. Oh, that solves this row as well. Solving this entire column. Things are getting dicey. Does that solve all of this? Well, one of these has to be open to connect it with everything else. Therefore, these two are definitely filled in, which solves that column. That's concerning. We can't really have these guys touch. So there has to be a wall there to stop the touching from happening. The other one there? No, right? There's no way. That's all open. Hmm. Blocked off. Oh, this is all solved. Open, blocked off, open, blocked off. Open, open, blocked off, blocked off, blocked off, open. There's an extra wall somewhere in here. Oops. There we go. That wasn't so bad. Next level. One zone, thankfully. These zoning rules are what get me half the time. I am looking at this and I'm seeing nothing to do with the new rules, which is also good to see. There's no bomb which has to get a certain monster. This guy can get either of those guys, for example. This one can get either of those guys. Nothing at all like that here, it seems. What I'm going to start looking at is if any certain monster bomb combo precludes us from solving rows, which it does not. Which it does not. Well, looking at this, if that guy gets this guy, or if that gets that guy, we only have just enough walls to fill it in. Therefore, those have to be walls. The same is true here. Oh, that's all open. Yippee. Oh, same there. Wow, that's already pretty good. Just because if you open one of those, you fill the other two with walls. Therefore, you only have just enough to like fill in the rest of that row and or column. What is next? Oh, if we fill that in, we don't have enough walls to fill in to fulfill the column rule. Therefore, that has to be a wall, and these guys have to solve that way. You can't get this guy, therefore you're getting this guy, therefore you're getting that guy, and therefore you're getting that guy. Wall there as well. Well, that's exciting. What happens next? What happens next is... I'm not quite sure. Oh, this column is completely solved. That's exactly why we just did the whole thing, to solve that column, to be honest. With that column solved, any other similar situations? Obvious fills now that we have more information? No. No, almost. That's a very nearly there. No. No, no. This is one way, though, which is good to know. No, no. That's interesting. So we're going to have to connect up these guys somehow. Like, this zone has to connect up, like, here and, like, there. The zoning laws are going to come into effect at some point soon. Oh, this row is also solved. This also solved because there's no standalone empty spaces. All this is solved for the same reason, and this is also solved for the same reason. Completely empty row and column. I don't think... Oh, sorry, this is solved. Should level... Should have led with that. What else is solved, if anything? Nothing quite yet. At least nothing is catching my eye. Well, okay. Looking at this, we can't have both of these, for example, be open air because then that doesn't leave enough walls for us to solve the rest of that. Let's go ahead and reverse that. What else do we or don't we know yet? I feel like we should be most of the way solved there, to be honest. I'm just missing, like, the next obvious step, you know? Hmm. Okay. Let's just bite the bullet and figure out what's possible and not possible with like these configurations down here. Um, let's see. We can't have like both of these walled off. That's like the entire shtick here. We gotta have one of these be open. Which one? Well, if this is open, then that blocks off this and that, leaving that open, which then does not solve the rest of that actually. Let's see if anything else is more immediately solved. Oh, well, then that blocks off all of this. Boom, 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 and boom. Which solves that. Honestly, I'll just flip the 50-50 right now. Oh, interesting. Oh, weird. Oh, weird. That's all open. I'm getting the very clear vibes that this was not correct. Yeah, look at that. Oh no. Okay, let's go ahead and reverse. Oh, that's still there. All of this. This is obviously open. Uh, I'm sure something else was unsolved in the area. Okay, something like that is how we were looking at it initially. Let's say this is open. What happens next? I don't think anything immediately jumps out as me as like, oh, like that's now immediately solved. Are there any bomb rules I'm missing? Cool. Well, literally everything's connected. All we have to do is just make sure that this slime connects to at least one of them. Um, which has got to be easy at this point, right? There's no way this is like the tough thing. Hmm. Hmm. Let's take a hints. Okay, so we're doing good with the current layout. I'm not like screwing up somewhere royally in that regard. The let's say we put a so this is going to be completely empty if I put down one. Rest of it's empty. Um, if I put it there, it like goes up like this. Um, we could have like another empty space there. Empty space there. Then the rest, if we so choose, is like walled off or not. What makes more sense? To have this walled off or to have all this walled off? This puzzle is giving very symmetrical vibes. But of course, that'd be a total shot in the dark. There's no way both are open, right? Because it's not symmetrical here. That's like the one spot where it's no longer symmetrical. Is here. Well, actually no, because this is not symmetrical. That's why it's all screwy there. Oh, that's empty. Oops. That's been empty. Der. Any other just missing spots that I've been screwing around and not filling in? Nope, I don't think so. Oh, that one of these has to be closed off. Let's say it's that one. What happens? That's all empty. This is walled off. Therefore, that's walled. Therefore, this has to be open. Um. Oh, this is also entirely empty. Oh wait, no, what am I doing? Oops, that's what I just placed. That's the proof I was just doing. Oh no, oops. All this is empty. Therefore, that's all full. Therefore, it goes up through here. And that all seems fine to me. Is there a reason to know or believe that would be empty? I don't think so. It's always these puzzles that don't use any of the new rules that are always so just difficult. Um, I mean, that tracks. They're going to save the harder versions of the basic rule puzzles for later, but still a smidgen annoying. Let's pull the 50-50. Just pull it off right now. Therefore, that's full. Therefore that. Therefore, what else do we learn? Basically nothing. Interesting. Okay. What about this 50-50? Ugh, I feel like there's something obvious I should be like looking at here that's just not clicking for me. Well, empty. Hmm. I mean, looking at it, it's symmetrical in that way. I'm gonna go ahead and do that and assume the symmetry. Which again, assumptions are not the right thing to do, but hey, I'm feeling it today. Therefore what? Therefore what? Hmm. There's only one more open air thing here. There's two more here. Let's block off this guy and see what happens. If we block off that, then that has to be open, therefore forcing all of this and that. And that's all empty, meaning that and that. And there's not enough tiles to go around. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, if we block off that, then that kind of solves it for us. Oh, this has been solved for a hot second with the thing I just placed down. Unless that, of course, is incorrect, which is so profoundly possible, as we've been explaining. Not we've been, as I've been reiterating. That's open, that's closed. That's all open, that's closed, that's closed. Fewer than 3 incorrect. Okay, let's logic out where the incorrections are. There's too many here. Where's a surplus? Surplus, no surplus. No surplus. That's a surplus. No, it's not a surplus. That's actually fine. Okay, where are there too few? Good. Looking good. Also looking. Do I need to replace one of these with a different different tile? Am I just being like profoundly stupid here? Oh, there's a problem. There we go. That was a profoundly inelegant solution. I apologize for putting y'all through that. 8, 4, 4. It's either each are worth 2 or each are worth 1, or x is like 0 and y is 2, or vice versa. Only ways to make that mathematically work. Neither of them have to be anything. Like, if we block off this x here, for example, this y can get both of these guys. This guy blocks off all of these. Wait a second. Wait a second. Wait a second. Hold on. I was just testing it out, but it's looking pretty good to me, guys. Oh, that's so funny. What? What's incorrect about it? What is wrong with this particular solution? No, that's that. Oh no! Oh, the missing spots in the middle. That's so interesting. Okay, looking at it more like logically, right? Like trying to actually solve it rather than just stumble into the correct answer. There's got to be a wall somewhere there. That tracks. There's got to be at least two walls there is interesting. Are there any monsters that only a certain guy like has to or can get? If that's the case, and if like that's the case, and if that's the case, and that's the case, that tells us like this is empty, for example, because there has to be walls there. That tells us like those are filled. Or shooby doo wop, shooby doo wop. I don't think you can have 1 and 1 where you have both of them. Oh no, you literally can't. Yeah, you literally can't have x equal to 1 and y equal to 1 because of rule 9, I think, right? So I have to assume that x is equal to 2 and y is equal to nothing, given how we just proved y equals nothing earlier. Wall. Wall. Solved. Solved. Let's say that's solved. That's solved. Wall. Solved. Solved. Solved wall. What is next? A wall and a wall and a solved. And a solved and a wall. Tremendous. Okay. Next level. Good start. 8 monsters. X has to be equal to 4. No, x could be equal to 2 and y equal to 1. Or we assume one of them is 0, and then it's like y is equal to 2 and x is equal to 4. Can x even be able to be equal to 4? Yes, it can. Can y even be able to be equal to just 1? It looks pretty well positioned to do all the things, yeah. Let's look at Picross rules then. There's got to be a wall. Just one wall. Just one wall. Ooh. That either means that these y's get both of these guys. Or one y gets 2 of them. So y can't be equal to 0. If y is absolutely not equal to 0, then x has to be worth at least 2. Yeah, x has to be worth at least 2 if y is equal to at least 1. Why don't we have to have y equal to 2 and x is equal to 0? Yeah, it's either x is equal to 2 or x is equal to 0. Hmm. Okay, let's keep chugging away at this. 5 is interesting. 5 blocks off a decent amount. There's 2 walls here, meaning that, like, yeah, you could do that, but that doesn't seem very efficient. And there's only 2 more empty spaces like this. Yeah, so like we can't have like this and like all the way down there and this, for example. We've got to have walls in certain places. What's the slime up to? what's your game plan? Hmm. X has to be blocked off from at least one of these guys. They can't both be 1. No, yeah, X would be 2 in this case. So if X is blocked off from like one of these guys, then he'll have to get the other guy as well. Like this guy or like, well, if X gets this guy, then we don't have enough walls to get around. So X can't be getting that guy, forcing Y to get that guy. That is just confirmed. What does that tell us? Is there a similar thing going on over here? No, there is not. Sick. Hmm. Looking at this. Oh, what is next? 4 in that column. I'm looking at this and my instincts are telling me like work with this stuff here. Like notice that there's a missing thing here that only requires 1 to block it off, or you only have 1 chance to block it off. So we can't have you do that. We know for a fact there's a wall there already. I'm thinking about it. Let's say... Oh no, y has to be equal to at least 1. We just know that now. Forcing x to be equal to 2, or y is equal to 2. And x is 0. If x is 2, in this case, for example, I could do this and like this without any real implications for the puzzle at large. But I have no reason to believe that that's the case. Instead, let's take a look at y. We know y is to get at least 1 guy each now. Are there any spots where that would be difficult? I guess if we block that off, it becomes more difficult, but why would we do that? In no case can X get both of the monsters in a row or column. It has to divvy up like that. Let's assume momentarily that, for example, X is going to be 2 and get those guys. Boom, 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 and boom. Does that cause any undue implications for the rest of the puzzle? So, yes, this X can't get this guy because not enough walls left over. Therefore, Y has to get him, meaning that Y is 2, and therefore Y is getting all of these guys. Wow, tremendous. Okay. Uh, blocked, blocked, blocked for sure. All open air. Got to be a block somewhere in there, but we'll figure that out later. And a block here and a block here. That's all open air. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's all open to save a block for there. Therefore, there's a block there. And what's next? That's all open. Therefore, there's a block there. What's next? Also, oh no, there has to be a block there. Oh no. Why do we think we know? Why do I think I know this? There we go. We'll work around that for now. We'll hope that's right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh no, I screwed something up somewhere. Fewer than 3 wrong though. That's good. I'll work out the rest, then we'll retroactively figure it out. 1, 2. There's one in here somewhere. There's one in here somewhere and one in here somewhere. And I really just don't need all of those. Oh no, I do. I need one here and one here. Therefore, that's going to be the extra one there. But no, that's a separate zone. Oops. Are there any excesses? Fewer than 3 wrong. So I think I just need to unblock this somehow. Okay. 2, 4, 0, 2, 1, 1, 2, 5, 2, and 2. That's all correct. 1, 5, 1, 2, 6, 2, 2, 0, 1, 1. That's all. It's all Picross wise correct. Let's just throw out there something. Okay, we need to reorganize all this. There's got to be a guy somewhere in there. We can't block that off and then have like, yeah, no, so that has to be open. Therefore, that's blocked. Therefore, oh, weird though. Like, where does the extra one in here go? Maybe this is wrong. There we go. I just had the top and the bottom things inversed. Okay, last one for today. Okay, interesting. One of them has to be 0 by the nature of how this game works. So x or y is 0. Therefore, like we can't have like that, for example. Oops. Okay, well, y can't be attacking them, because if we have y doing both of it, there's not enough walls to go around. Therefore, x is the one attacking the monsters. What happens next? There's a slime here that's going to help us. That means one zone. That's all walled off. Any other that's all walled off. Okay. What's next? Well, there has to be a connection somewhere in here, therefore those are walled off, and to stop it from being excess zones, we block all those as well. This is now all open. This is now all open as well, forcing those to be walls. Forcing boom, 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 open, 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 open. What a lovely finish. What a lovely, just straightforward finish. With that, thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time.